I need you hopeless.
As horror fans, we've seen it all, from the obsessive serial killers to the power-hungry humans and supernatural entities. One such supernatural entity is known as Succubus, who, according to the folklore, is a female demon that would lure men by seducing them in their dreams, and with repeated intercourse, she would drain their life force, deteriorating their health while getting stronger herself. Her male counterpart is known as incubus, who does the same non-consensual deed with females. According to the Jewish texts, Adam's first wife was named Lilith, who left the Garden of Eden when she mated with the archangel Samael. She later became a succubus who took the form of a beautiful woman hiding her deformity. In some folklore, succubus even took the form of a siren. The modern depiction of succubus in various art forms involves an enchanting woman who uses her beauty to lure men. Today we're going to talk about 10 such live-action depictions of the most dangerous succubi in horror history. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Succubus, 1968. Played by Janine Reynaud, Lorna works at a nightclub in Lisbon, where she performs sadomasochistic acts. She plays the role of a dominatrix who sexually exploits and tortures people before killing them. This pleases the club patrons as they applaud her after the act. Lorna is dating the club manager, William Mulligan, who discovered her and helped her create the whole act. At night, Lorna dreams that she is a countess who owns a grand castle near the sea. In the dream, she meets a man named Pierce, who calls her a disciple of evil whom he has manifested to do his bidding. She then meets another man named Admiral Cap and gets intimate with him before stabbing him in the eye. Lorna dismisses her dream as a nightmare and goes on a walk with William the next day. They chance upon an open casket funeral, and Lorna decides to remove the shawl covering the corpse's face. To her horror, it's the same dude she stabbed in her dream, and he was also stabbed in the eye. The film carries on as a fever dream as the scene shifts to Lorna and William joining a party where people consume LSD. Lorna also seems to have taken it as she starts acting weird and other junkies crawl towards her like dogs. If this wasn't weird enough, William decides to tell Lorna a story about a countess who murdered her husband under the influence of Satan right after he built a palace for her. Things get more bizarre when Pierce also shows up at their club and approaches Lorna, addressing her as a countess. She says she doesn't know him and shuts him down. In another nightmare, Lorna takes her friend Bella to a room in the rundown castle. They briefly get intimate before Lorna stabs Bella to death. These events make her lose her sense of reality by blending her dreams into it. Following this, we learn that Lorna and William are moving to Berlin. It's also revealed that William has partnered with Pierce in their plan to manipulate Lorna for some unspecified reason. Later, at their Berlin apartment, Lorna performs one of her sadomasochistic acts while being in a trance-like state. The man and a woman whom Lorna had previously performed within the club are involved as the victims in this act. They plead for their lives as Lorna brutally stabs them to death, one by one. Her trance is only broken when William calls out her name, making her freak out as she realizes she has actually killed both of them. She flees upstairs, followed by William, and a sound of gunfire is heard before Lorna screams. It seems like William has killed Lorna when he returns to his Lisbon apartment. To his surprise, Lorna is lounging naked on his couch. She asks him for a kiss, and William obliges. Lorna then kills him by stabbing him in the neck. Pierce arrives and takes Lorna to the harbor from her dreams, where he calls her his Faustina and promises to bring her peace through his powers. The film ends as the couple enters the castle together. Is Lorna a succubus? As Lorna starts losing her sense of reality and mixing it with her dreams, her human self starts deteriorating. The sexual elements in the film are deeply engraved, along with the dreamlike point of view that makes it hard to believe what's real and what's not. William kills Cap, Bella, William, and her nightclub victims after getting intimate with them, which clearly points to her following a succubus ritual, albeit not entirely. Completely in control of Pierce, she becomes a puppet puppet to his orders and loses her sense of self. It can be speculated that Lorna is on the path of becoming a succubus on Pierce's command, or she may have been one all along. Jennifer's Body, 2009. Played by Megan Fox, Jennifer is a self-centered popular high schooler who forces her nerd best friend, Anita, to attend a boy band Low Shoulder concert. Fire breaks out in the concert, killing several fans. Instead of going back home after surviving the fire, Jennifer decides to abandon Anita to go party with the boy band members who invite her into their van. Nothing screams a red flag than grown adults inviting a teenager into their van. By the time she sees the red flags, she gets converted into a red garden. The boys take her into the woods and offer her to Satan as a virgin sacrifice in exchange for fame and fortune. Unbeknownst to them, Jennifer is not a virgin and comes back from the dead as a succubus. She starts feeling intense hunger and goes to Anita's house late at night to devour raw chicken from her fridge. It only makes her throw up as Anita shockingly witnesses her bloodified friend. Jennifer gets aroused to eat Anita, but stops herself before fleeing. She then feeds on some other student and soon realizes that she will have to depend on male cannibalism to prevent herself from deteriorating. The next day at school, she's back to her beautiful self, now more radiant after feeding on a human, which confuses Anita. More so, Jennifer doesn't hide her indifference to the news of people dying from the fire. Over the course of a few months, Jennifer seduces and lures several kids from school to an isolated area before brutally killing and feeding on them. Meanwhile, Low Shoulder becomes famous as fake news of their heroism in saving people from fire spreads. Anita soon discovers her bestie's monstrous side and demands an explanation. Jennifer tells her all about what happened, which prompts Anita to break up with her boyfriend Chip to protect him, as if it ever works. She starts researching occult rituals and learns that a succubus can only be killed when she is hungry. On the night of the school dance, Jennifer lies to Chip that Anita has cheated on him and then lures him to an abandoned pool through seduction. Anita arrives right as Jennifer starts feeding on an injured Chip, and a struggle ensues between the three where Chip impales Jennifer through the chest, forcing her to flee while he dies. Enraged, Anita breaks into Jennifer's house and the two fight in her bedroom. Jennifer overpowers and bites Anita as she rips off their matching BFF necklace from Jennifer's neck. This catches Jennifer off guard, and Anita is able to stab her to death. Jennifer's mother arrives at the scene, and Anita is arrested. Because of the bite, Anita has gained some of Jennifer's supernatural powers and escapes from the asylum she was admitted to. The ending shows us that Anita has murdered all the Low Shoulder band members to avenge her bestie's murder. Jennifer as a succubus. There is no doubt that Jennifer is a succubus, a result of a failed ritual. It's clearly mentioned in the film. She can't consume human food, so she consumes humans as food once a month. She starts to deteriorate when she doesn't eat for a while, and killing people becomes a necessity for her. Although the true demonic form isn't revealed, we are shown how her attractive face contorts into a snake-like mouth with shark-like teeth and yellow eyes. She seems to be a mixture of her human consciousness with all her memories and of a demon. She has superhuman strength and speed, healing properties, levitation abilities, lust radar, and the ability to lure her victims with seduction. Her weaknesses are malnutrition and a knife through the heart. Anita as a succubus. Although Anita gained Jennifer's powers through the bite, it seems that she has remained herself, getting only the best of the supernatural properties without having to live with the demonic side of it. She has turned more attractive with superpowers as a half-breed with elevated rage issues. VHS 2012 and Siren 2016. Played by Hannah Fierman, Lily is the succubus in both films. VHS, a found footage format film, contains several horror stories. One of these is Amateur Night, where a group of friends, Shane, Patrick, and Clint, rent a motel room hoping to bring back women. Clint has a hidden camera and microphone in his glasses as the group is planning to record their intimate encounters. They successfully convince Lisa and Lily to join them in their rooms. Lisa passes out because of drinking too much, and the boys boys shift their attention to Lily, who makes it clear that she doesn't like Patrick. Lily tries to seduce Clint, but Shane intervenes, and Lily doesn't mind as long as Patrick stays away from her. Clint notices that her feet are scaly and clawed, which the desperate boys ignore. Clint gets nervous and rushes to the bathroom to calm himself, and soon after, Patrick starts shouting that Lily bit his hand. They're startled by her changed appearance as she reveals her fangs and brutally kills Shane. Clint sneaks peeks into the room where Patrick tries to fight Lily with a curtain rod, but she easily overpowers him, ripping off his genitals and drinking his blood. Clint frantically tries to flee while Lily follows him with her demonic face split in the middle. Weirdly, she is gentle with him as she keeps exclaiming that she likes him and tries to seduce him. Clint understandably doesn't reciprocate her feelings, and Lily begins crying before bursting into anger. Clint takes his chance to flee the motel, but Lily transforms into a winged succubus, lifts him off the ground, and flies away. They made an entire film titled Siren, which is a sequel to this short found footage story. Jonah goes to his bachelor party with his brother Mac and friends Rand and Elliot. Jonah affirms that he is not going to cheat on his fiancée Ava and wants a non-cheating experience, so the club owner, Nix, sends him to a private room. There, he watches Lilith perform for him from a locked room. Believing that she is kept a sex slave, Jonah helps her escape. His friends also start realizing that the club isn't normal and join Jonah. Lilith is the same succubus from the previous film who instantly strikes a liking towards the kind Jonah, and we all know how that goes. The friends soon find out that Lilith is a demonic creature and try to flee from both her and Nix. Elliot is killed, while Rand is kidnapped by Nix and gets tortured. Meanwhile, Lilith flies away with Jonah and molests him by trancing him to believe that she is Ava. He later wakes up sleeping with Lilith and escapes. Nix soon contacts him and offers to set Rand free if Jonah lures Lilith into a church. Jonah goes to the church, knowing that Lilith will shortly follow him. Nix informs Jonah that Lilith has chosen him as her mate for life. No, not her life, his life. Nix instructs Jonah to bind a shackle on Lilith's ankles that will bind her to Nix's orders. When Lilith arrives, Nix threatens to kill Jonah and commands her to stand inside the occult circle. To save her mate's life, Lilith obliges, and Nix then throws Jonah in to bind her with the shackles. Our genius Jonah changes his mind and promises her that he won't bind her in shackles if she lets him go. Lilith accepts and then attacks Nix and his men. Mac also arrives to help his brother, but Nix slits his throat. Lilith uses her sharp tail to kill Nix and then lets the boys go after kissing Jonah for the last time. A year later, Jonah and Ava are celebrating their first anniversary. Jonah hears Lilith's siren song, but ignores it after seeing Ava standing at the door. The two have a romantic time together, and afterwards, Jonah goes downstairs to grab water. To his shock, the real Ava is sleeping on the couch. He grabs the kitchen knife to confront whoever is in their bed and puts it down after seeing Lilith. He begs her to leave, but Ava wakes up and freaks out, prompting Lilith to attack her. Jonah promises to go with her if she lets Ava live. Lilith then flies off with Jonah as a devastated Ava can only scream after them. Imagine seeing your husband get abducted by a flying demon one random night and having no idea why. The dreadful Lilith. Out of all the succubi we've covered in the video, Lilith best fits the description of this demonic entity. Although she doesn't look like the gorgeous, modernized version of Succubus, she is as eerie as a demon like her would be. She's socially awkward and violent, with no empathy whatsoever. She lures men, seduces them, brutally mutilates them, and feeds on them. Although she is kind to those she chooses as her mates, she still has no concern for their will, as she molests them for her selfish desires. She can't be blamed for her animalistic lack of morality, as it is her prime instinct. Her entire demonic personality is about seduction and molestation. She even tries to let Jonah go for a year, but then gives in to her natural desires and takes him away. The Devil's Nightmare, 1971. Played by Erica Black, Lisa Muller is a succubus in the 1971 film The Devil's Nightmare. A former World War II general named Baron reveals that his ancestor made a pact with Satan in exchange for his services. Satan then puts a curse on the family that their eldest daughter in each generation will become a succubus. This came true for his previous generations, so Baron killed his eldest daughter in her crib. Unbeknownst to him, the housemaid had already given birth to the eldest daughter from an affair with Baron's brother. Presently, 7 tourists are stranded because of a recent flood, and they arrive at Baron's castle, which he now runs as a hotel. A beautiful woman named Lisa also arrives to stay in the castle, and we all know where this is going. The 7 tourists represent 7 deadly sins, and all except one, named Alvin, are killed by Lisa, who transforms from a pretty woman to a monstrous succubus. She seduces and kills them using their own sinful weaknesses. Alvin represents the deadly sin pride, and when Lisa fails to work her seduction on him, Satan appears to meet him. Alvin sells his soul to Satan in exchange for his friends, and Satan accepts the deal. The next morning, all the tourists are back with the last night deleted in their memory folder, and even Alvin thinks that he just dreamt all of it. They get ready to leave, but Alvin decides to stay behind in the castle with Lisa. As their tour bus rides off, it swerves to prevent crashing into a funeral wagon that is driven by Satan himself. The bus ends up falling off the cliff, killing everyone, and the film ends as Satan gives a cheeky smile to Lisa, both happy at reclaiming the souls. Saint Sinner, 2002. This film features 2 succubi, Munkar and her younger sister Nakir. They are unintentionally released by a rookie monk Thomas and his friend Gregory in the year 1815. The succubi use the Wheel of Time to travel to the 21st century. Thomas is allowed to redeem himself by traveling to the 21st century and hunting down the demons he has inadvertently brought back. Because what better than sending a fresher to save the world? Thomas has a hard time navigating the 21st century Seattle and discovers that the demons have already begun killing. The same old succubus ritual follows, where they use their beauty to lure, seduce, and feed on men. When Thomas arrives at one of the murder scenes, he gets arrested and taken into custody as a suspect. There he meets Detective Rachel, who initially refuses to believe his stories, but when the victims start piling up, the two partner up to catch the demons. Thomas eventually traps them by using Saint Nicodemus's sacred dagger. The Succubi sisters. These 2 sisters are said to have destroyed various cities in just one night. They have supernatural strength with healing properties and can use their saliva to turn it into a cocoon that traps their victims. It can also be used to transform humans into demons, which they try on Detective Rachel. Munkar is much greedier than her sister, as she feeds on people for too long, despite Nakir warning her that the blood of the dead is poisonous to them. Their weakness is revealed to be Saint Nicodemus's sacred dagger that was originally used to imprison them. Other than that, they also wither away after giving birth. Although represented as succubi in this film, Munkar and Nakir are the angels in Islamic eschatology who test the Islamic faith of the dead in their graves. Umbrage, 2009. This features the original succubus Lilith from Jewish mythology, who is also considered a vampire in this film. According to some stories, she was exiled from the Eden Garden for refusing to obey her husband Adam. She is the devil's spouse and is considered the mother of all succubi. She is known as the ruler of the shadows, who bears demonic offspring to spoil the world. An antique dealer named Jacob moves into a remote farmhouse with his wife Lauren and stepdaughter Rachel. While trying to resolve their own family feud, they chance upon a much bigger feud between 2 vampires, Phelan and Lilith. Lilith had turned the Irish cowboy, Phelan, into a vampire 120 years ago. Since then, he has been waiting for a chance to take his revenge by killing her with an ancient relic he stole from the Vatican, a bone splinter from her ex-husband Adam's rib. Lilith gets summoned to Jacob's homestead because of an ancient mirror from Babylon, which was smuggled out of the Middle East. Jacob carries this mirror in hopes of selling it for profit, but ends up on the verge of a much bigger loss. Under the Skin, 2013. Played by Scarlett Johansson, an unnamed woman tries to find a perfect victim for her. She talks to several men. Some seem virtuous, and some have family or friends waiting for them. She finally finds one who is single and desperate to mingle. She takes him to her apartment and lures him into a dark room. As he walks closer to her in a trance, he starts drowning on the floor, not even realizing what's happening to him. Unfazed, she goes back to finding her next victim. It's revealed that she is an alien and works for several of her superior aliens who are living as a bunch of bikers on Earth. When she drowns her victims on the floor, their internal bodies are ground as the food supply for the aliens, leaving behind only their skin. Although she doesn't show any emotions in the beginning while killing people, and even leaving a crying 18-month-old alone on a beach, she soon seems guilty about her actions. Her boss continuously inspects her to ensure that she's working on their command with apathy. It's not until she reluctantly lures a kind man and drowns him that she truly starts showing signs of having emotions. She takes that man out into the surface and frees him before running away herself. As the bikers start looking for her, one of them kills the kind man the woman had set free. Meanwhile, she flees to the mountains and gets acquainted with yet another kind man. He takes her to his house and prepares a meal for her. She's not able to eat human meals and watches the TV with wandering eyes. Next, they visit a ruined castle where the man is still kind and caring towards her as he helps her cross over a puddle. Later, she lets him kiss her, but as they try to get intimate, she freaks out and examines her body. While wandering around in the forest, she meets a logger who tries to molest her and accidentally rips off the fake skin she's wearing. This reveals her real, entirely black alien body. She rips off more of her skin, taking off her human face when the logger returns and throws fuel on her. Before she can react, he lights her on fire, and she's reduced to ashes. Succubus. Although she is clearly an alien who has not yet been accustomed to the human world, she has some characteristics similar to those of a succubus. She hides her true form behind beautiful skin, and lures only men into her house, seducing and killing them in the end. Being an alien, it's a given that she must be feeding on that processed human meat as well, making her more like a succubus who attacks men for her survival, or should we say, food. Hence, there are similarities between this alien creature and the succubus. Succubus, Hellbent, 2007. Played by Natalie Sperry, Lilith is the succubus and the main antagonist in the film Succubus Hellbent 2007. The plot follows Lilith as she grows obsessive over the protagonist named Adam, throwing shade at the legend of Lilith and Adam. She first encounters him at one of his beach parties, and after their passionate time together, she marks him on the chest. This is followed by stalking, either scaring or killing all the new women he tries to get close to. She forces herself on Adam and consistently ruins his life by killing his girlfriend Heather and his best mate Jason. Not even letting the dude mourn over the loss, this girl can't keep calm and disturbs him even more. Finally, in Adam's house, she comes to her true form as a demon before Adam uses a sword to stab her in the heart. The police arrive, and Adam tries to explain the truth, but when have they ever listened? So, Adam gets arrested for murder. The film ends as Lilith revives back to life with her glowing red eyes and kills the creepy coroner who is touching her disgustingly. Demon Hunter, 2005. Played by Tanya Dayton, a succubus serves the demon god of lust named Asmodeus, who seems to be an incubus as he trances women with seduction and molests them. He even plants demon babies in various possessed prostitutes. Despite being a servant to Asmodeus, the succubus in the film is much more sinister and seems like a main threat, despite the film trying to convince us that Asmodeus is the main antagonist. She seduces Jake, the main protagonist, who is half demon, half human, basically a hybrid. His job is to kill the possessed people as a last resort when the church fails to save their souls through exorcism. He is soon tasked with investigating the connection in the long string of possessed girls with Sister Sarah. Jake is ordered to kill the possessed girls to prevent any demonic pregnancy, although Sarah doesn't approve of this violence. In their search for a possessed girl named Nancy, they face Asmodeus, who has taken over Nancy's body. The succubus splits the couple by seducing Jake to take over his soul. She also tries to convince Jake to leave God's side and join them in their demonic adventures. But Jake, being the righteous one, rejects her offer and overpowers her. Meanwhile, Sarah kills Nancy in self-defense and gets abducted by Asmodeus. Jake goes to save Sarah, who seems to be in a trance as Asmodeus gets intimate with her in a ritual. He witnesses in horror as Sarah turns into a demon during the act and devours Asmodeus' heart, killing him just like that. Turns out Sarah was also a human-demon hybrid this entire time. She's now abandoned the good old Bible path as she becomes deranged and tries to convince Jake to join her on this dark journey. When Jake doesn't agree, she attacks him, only to get killed by him. Jake accuses the church of lying to him about Sarah's truth, and they inform him that even Sarah had no idea about it. The film ends as one of the prostitutes is revealed to be pregnant with baby Asmodeus. But no fear, when Jake is here, he kills her. Flesh for the Beast, 2003. The film features 3 succubi who inhabit a haunted mansion that used to be a brothel where many men went missing. A group of parapsychologists arrive to investigate, including Aaron Cooper, who especially finds the house intriguing. They soon learn that the 3 succubi are imprisoned in the house by a warlock amulet. Whoever owns the amulet gets immense power by being able to control the succubi. Everyone from the group is killed one by one except for Aaron and one last survivor, who's able to find the amulet but gets killed before beginning the ritual. Aaron is now the final survivor, but in the plot twist, we learn that she's also a succubus who lost her memories and was allowed to leave the mansion, being Warlock's favorite. The film ends as she joins her fellow succubi in the mansion. Marvelous verdict. That was our list of the scariest succubi in horror films. Although there has not been the strongest depiction or much of the honorary mention of this scary demon, she still stands as one of the most horrifying creatures whose life literally depends on harming others. Tell us in the comments which among these succubi have found her way into your dreams, and let us know if we failed to include any other pretty demon out there. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.